إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهدي الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. إن خير الكلام كلام الله وإن خير الهدي هدي سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وإن شر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. وإنما توعدون لآت وما أنتم بمعجزين. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen that He has created us as Muslims. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us in Ummah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the final messenger to humanity, the one with whom Allah has sent with guidance and the religion of truth. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen that He is the only deity worthy of worship. He is the creator of the heavens and the earth, what's in them and what's between them, what's beyond them. Dear brothers and sisters, we have to go through life with the hope that we are successful in handling our life, in handling our relationships, in handling our money, and with that we have to learn from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And those who follow the Prophet are the ones to be guided. As Allah said in the Quran, وَإِن تُطِيعُوهُ تَهْتَدُوا. And if you were to follow Him and obey Him, you will be guided. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put it exclusively for men and women of Islam, Muslim and Muslimah, that if you were to disobey Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you will never attain that guidance. Some say, well, I made so much wealth, or accumulated so much wealth, or got to a position, or I am so powerful right now, everybody, look up to me and so forth. Dear brother, there are two lives that we live. We spoke the last time about regular life that everybody shares, the Muslim and the non-Muslim. And there is the second life that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran, and mentioned the Quran itself as a life. When you read it, when you apply it, when you live by it, when you take it as your rule and doctrine of life. And this is what we're looking at. And the Prophet ﷺ is always warning us about what? About things and conditions in our life that will prevent us from being that complete Muslim or complete Muslim. And we have to listen to him. And if you had lived long enough, you would understand, and you have seen so many examples in your life. I mean, not too long ago, about a month ago or so, we had a person working with us, and within a day he was there, the other day he wasn't. Unfortunately, they're not Muslims, so they cremated him. And they came and asked me, is it acceptable in Islam? And I said, no. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forbidden that you cremate or burn a person dead or alive. That's not acceptable by Islam. As the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that لا يعذب النار إلا رب النار. No one will ever punish with fire except the Lord of the fire, who is Allah. And this is Jahannam, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to prevent us from being ever admitted to it. So let's look at the conditions that may affect our life, affect our outcome, because everybody that is planning on his life, planning on his future, planning to have a family, children, and being successful in it, he has to put success in the first goal of his life, and to teach his children that Jannah is the goal. Jannah, paradise, is the goal that every single Muslim and Muslimah has to be working for, teaching their sons and daughters to achieve. So the first thing the Prophet ﷺ is asking a simple question. بادروا بالأعمال سبعا. You should start working and diligently working before 7 conditions may happen to you. It could happen, all of them, to one person. Some of them could happen, some of them would not. But any living person could be affected by these 7 conditions. هل تنتظرون إلا فقرا منسيا. Are you waiting on a poverty that will make you forget, or the forgetful poverty? And people sometimes they think that poverty would not make your intellect being affected. But if you were to look at it, you have seen maybe on the TV or in the internet, where people are so poor that they forget their basic duty to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're so poor that they're trying to make ends meet and find food and water for their children and for themselves and for their survival. They forget about their prayer. They forget about making dhikr to Allah. They forget about studying and reading the Quran. They forget about looking and pondering upon the creation of the heavens and the earth. That's one forgetfulness that would be detrimental to any person. Because most of us will never forget they're hungry or thirsty or they need to relieve themselves. But unfortunately, with shaitan being always roaming around you and your life and looking at you from all your weaknesses, is ready to ask you and whisper to you, not to ask you, but to whisper to you to forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So do not come to that point and do not expose yourself to that point. And the other one is the opposite. The Prophet ﷺ always give you an incredible contrast in your life. So one is a poverty that make you forget. The other one is richness that will make you transgress. And there is a lot of brothers and sisters, unfortunately, once Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them the wealth, the money, the place in society, they forget where they came from. And they start going about their business as if they were never poor in their life. And there is a lot of things that we have learned in the Sunnah and the Hadith has taught us. These are three men. All of them had certain diseases, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to test them. So He sends an angel after every single one of them has asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to alleviate his pain. One of them was paralyzed and he wanted Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give him his health back, and He did. And then the other one had skin disease, and people didn't want to be with him or look at him or mingle with him, and he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to relieve him from that, and He did. And the third one was a very poor person that had a shirt that barely covers his body, and he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to relieve him from poverty. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given every single one of these three men what they have wished for and asked for, and He give them time to enjoy the ni'mah and the blessing of Allah. And remember, we are all in that situation. We all have that ni'mah of Allah that is there, and we enjoy it, and we take it for granted. And now instead of when the electricity goes, we don't ask Allah first to bring it back. We go and find out if we paid the bill, the electric bill or not. Or we call, the electric company and say to them, what is the problem? Or the internet is cut off. And we should start with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thank Him that He has given us electricity, thanking Him that He has given us the internet, and asking Him to bring it back first before you make that call. This is what you need to teach your children. When you bring your child, whether he is young or old, a gift, make sure that your child say Alhamdulillah first. All praises and thanks are due to Allah first. Then thank you. Because you are teaching your children that every single thing that is good comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not from you. And this will stay with the child until he or she grows up. And everything that happens in his life later on, that's what he will remember. He will remember that only Allah is the one that brings the good. So these three men are living in the bliss of Allah. He alleviated their pain and their condition, and time passed by until they got so accustomed to the blessing of Allah and the ni'mah that Allah has given them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests them. The first one, He came to him and asked him, a person that is paralyzed, people are bringing him all the way to him. He was limping, and he asked this man that had the same condition to give him out of which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him. Sadaqah, charity. And this man forget that he ever limped and he ever was paralyzed, and asked this man to leave in an abusive, abrupt way. So he denounced the ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he denounced that he was ever in this man's condition. So the angel leaves him, Allah brings him back to his original condition. The second one that had the skin disease, this angel shows up to him in the same form, a human with a skin disease, asking him for sadaqah, charity. And the same thing happened. He tells him, leave me, I don't want to have a contagious disease, don't come near me. And he started asking him to leave in an abrupt and very meaningful way. And the angels left, and this man, Allah brings him back to his original condition. The third one that was poor, the third one that couldn't do anything, that had only a shirt that was covering his body, the angel came to him and he asked him to give him out of the blessings that Allah has given him. So he told him, yes, brother, come, sit here, I'll bring you food, I will bring you clothes. I was in your position. I was exactly where you were. And I asked Allah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me and blessed me with what you see. And I will spend of what which Allah has given me. So dear brothers, this is a simple thing. Remember that sometimes you have health, you have wealth, you have the ability to give and you don't give. You have the ability to treat people equally and you don't. You have the ability to have mercy on those Muslims, men and women, and you don't do that. Remember, this is not what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks you as a Muslim man or woman. Sometimes life turns, and that position and this place and this person that you see so unfortunate could be you. So, and this is one of the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prescribed the zakah for. To make sure that this society love one another. That this society, the poor person and the rich person love each other. The poor person knows that Allah has given him a right to the rich person's money. And nobody is in need. And I wish that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings the Muslim to the realization that this ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not eternal. Life is short and life is very fast. And by the time we realize that we did wrong, sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not give some of us respite or time to correct themselves. And the third one that the Prophet ﷺ is warning us from is maradan mufsida. Sickness that will turn your life upside down. Sickness that will almost paralyze you from doing the good. Sickness that will not only change the glitter of your life that you're living right now, but it will make you incapable of doing all the good things. So don't wait for that sickness. If you're healthy, if you are wealthy, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you the ability to do the good. Don't let it go by without using it. The smart Muslim man or woman is the one that uses everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him or her to advance his cause, to get closer to Jannah, paradise. Dear brothers, these are three things. Inshallah, we'll complete the hadith. I will make a dua. Please say Ameen after me. Allahumma fil mu'minina wal mu'minat wal muslimina wal muslimat al ahya'i minhum wal amwat innaka qareebun mujibun sami'u da'awat. اللهم إنا نسألك رضاك والجنة ونعوذ بك من سخطك والنار ربنا اغفر لنا ولوالدينا وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب قل رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا اللهم إنا نسألك من خير ما سألك منه عبدك نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ونعوذ بك من شر ما استعاذك منه عبدك ونبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون، وسلام على المرسلين، والحمد لله رب العالمين.